A very good afternoon, dear listeners. So, welcome to our today's session. Today, I'm going to discuss one of the most important topics of grammar, that is tense. So, listeners, please note that this lecture is not for any particular class. So, in general, you can say that the students right from class 5th to class 12th can utilize these rules discussed in this presentation. Right? So, let's begin with the topic. So, children, tense, as most of you must be acquainted with the term, tense means time, right? So, as you all have been hearing from your teachers that tense is the most important topic, tense is such a topic that if you acquire mastery over this topic, you can have mastery over the language, right? So, yes, that is exactly true. So, today's presentation would focus on all the rules, right? So, one by one, we would go by the rules along with their examples. So, children, I have tried to include the examples which should be easier for you to understand, right? So, I hope you will listen to the video very carefully and you would enjoy it. So, tenses are three in number and each tense has four types. Three tenses are present tense, past tense, and future tense. And further, the four types of these tenses are, these means present tense, past tense, and future tense. Further, these have four types. Simply, these are indefinite, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. So this is a chart of all the tenses. So these are just a review. Present indefinite tense. Second is past indefinite. Future indefinite. Present continuous tense. Past continuous tense. Future continuous tense. Present perfect tense. Past perfect tense. Future perfect tense. Next is present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, and the last is future perfect continuous tense. So, beginning with the present indefinite tense. So, children, most of you must be acquainted with the fact that present indefinite tense is also known as simple present tense. So, don't get confused. Whenever we use present indefinite, it is same as simple present. Whenever we use past indefinite, it is as same as simple past. Whenever we say future indefinite, it is same as simple future tense, right? So present indefinite or simple present tense is the first one. So children, see what I have tried. I have tried to include three examples of each of these because as as an example, major three types of sentences we use. First is affirmative, that are positive sentences. Second is negative, that includes a no. And third are interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences are those which put a question mark, which have a question mark at the end, right? So, taking the first rule of affirmative sentences. So, children, in this, I have used short form throughout the presentation, short forms, right? So, wherever I have written capital S, that means subject. V1 stands for first form of verb and capital O stands for object, right? Wherever there is V2, that means second form of verb. Wherever there is V3, that means third form of verb. I hope that's clear to you, right? So, first rule says that in affirmative sentences, in the sentences where present indefinite is used, we need a subject in the beginning. Then we need to apply the first form of verb along with S or ES as per suitability plus an object should be there. See the example, a very simple example. He goes to school is the first example that is an affirmative sentence, that is a positive sentence, right? So you are advised to write more examples similar to this one. For example, I have quoted the sentence, he goes to school. You may also write an example that she goes to school, I go to school, they go to school, he goes to cinema, he goes to church, etc. Right? So, in the same tense, second example is of a negative sentence. In negative sentences, what we do? We write subject plus do or does as per its suitability with the subject plus not plus verb's first form plus object at the end, right? So my example here is I do not like fruits, right? You may also write an example like I do not like movies, he does not like fruits, etc. So you may write your own examples along with this lecture. Like, see, you may pause the video anytime and write your examples along with my dictation of rules. So in the interrogative third type, it starts with do or does. Students, wherever there is present indefinite tense, the sentence would start with, interrogative sentence would start with do or does plus subject plus first form of verb plus object. My sentence is, do you watch cricket? Question mark. So in interrogative sentences, the most important point is to mark a question mark at the end. Do you watch cricket? What else we can write? We can also write a sentence like, do you watch movies? Right? So similar kind of examples we can quote here. Next is past indefinite tense. So it is also known as simple past tense. So children, again there are three types of examples. First is of affirmative sentence. So affirmative, I told you, that is positive sentence, right? Very simple rule is there. We need subject plus second form of verb plus object for this. He passed the examination, right? So he as a subject, passed as the second form of verb, pass being the first one. The examination is the object of the sentence, right? In negative, we see the example as like subject plus did not plus verb's first form plus object. So a very particular rule of past indefinite, we use did in negative and interrogative sentences. So see the example, they did not reach in time, right? So children, a thing which is very carefully to be dealt with in past indefinite tense while writing the sentences in past indefinite, that is the usage of verbs first form with did. So this is the most common mistake made by almost all the students, right? So what they do, they often consider that whenever we are using past tense, we should apply second form of verb. Yes, that is right, but whenever did comes in the sentence, along with did, always the first form of verb would be used, right? So they did not reach in time. Don't mistake it like they did not reach in time. No, they did not reach in time. Similar example of interrogative sentence, that is did plus subject plus verb's first form plus object. So did would come in the beginning in interrogative sentence, right? So did she talk to you? Question mark. Again, see children, talk is verb's first form. So we would say did she talk to you, not did she talked to you. Did she talk to you? I hope that's clear. So moving to the third part, that is the future indefinite tense. So children, in affirmative, again a very simple rule, that is subject plus will or shall according to the situation plus verb's first form plus object. So, what I mean when I say will or shall according to the situation, so children, according to the traditional English grammar, shall is used with I and we, and will is used with rest of the subjects, right? But according to the modern English grammar, we may use will with all the subjects. The use of shall has been much more reduced with the passage of time. So if we use shall with I and we, that is also correct. If we use will with I and we, that is also correct. So see, affirmative sentence, I shall help you, right? So you may make a similar kind of sentence. Say, he will go there. He is the subject. Will, helping verb. Go, verb's first form. There, object, right? So in similarly in negative sentences, subject plus will or shall according to the situation plus not, verb's first form plus object. Exactly the same rule, only adding the word not in it. See, they will not play a match. You may make your sentence, he will not go for his tuition, right? So you may make similar sentences. Interrogative sentence, will or shall will come in the beginning as we did in the previous slides, children. So did came in the beginning in this sentence when we are using interrogative. Did came in the beginning. In the previous one, we used in present we used do. Do came at the beginning when we were doing interrogative sentence. So like pay very much attention to this particular rule. In interrogative sentence, question mark is there, that is very much clear, very much obvious, but the helping verb will come in the beginning. Will you read this book? Question mark at the end. You may make your own example like, will she go there? Shall we do this task? Question mark at the end. As simple as that. Moving to the next type, that is present continuous tense. So again, children, we have three types of sentences. In affirmative ones, so we would use subject plus we would select one of these, is or am or are plus verb's first form plus ing plus object in this. A simple example is, I am writing a book. You may write your own example. I am doing exercise. He is reading newspaper. Similar examples you can make at home. In negative sentence, children, what we are supposed to do, the rule would remain almost the same except the addition of not as we did in the previous type. Subject plus is, am or are according to the subject plus not plus verb's first form plus ing plus object at the end. She is not sweeping the room. She, subject. We already know that we write am with I and is with she. Right? So that's why I have taken separate subjects, different subjects. She is not sweeping. Sweep is the first form of verb plus ing. The room is the object. She is not sweeping the room. So children, you may make your own example like, he is not reading the newspaper. I am not writing a book. Right? So next type is interrogative. So again in this, which is the helping verb, is, am, are. Right? So as in the previous slides we did, helping verb would come in the beginning in interrogative sentences, is, am, are, then subject, verb's first form plus ing plus object at the end. Are you listening to the music? Question mark at the end. You may make similar sentence like, are they going out for the picnic? Question mark at the end. Right? I hope that's clear. Next is past continuous tense. So children, again there are three types: affirmative, negative and interrogative. In affirmative, subject plus was or were according to the subject. First form of verb plus ing plus object is used. So children, we know it very well. With singulars we use was, and with plural subjects we use were. So the baby was crying. The baby is the subject. Out of was and were we will write was here, plus verb's first form plus ing. Cry is verb's first form plus ing, and we may or may not write the object. We could also write this sentence like the baby was crying due to pain, right? So in negative, similarly, only not is added, rest of the rule would remain same. She was not cooking the food. She is the subject. We will write was not cooking. Cook is the first form of verb plus ing. The food is the object. We may make similar sentence like he was not attending the party, right? So interrogative sentence we use was or were, that is the helping verbs. So it would come in the beginning plus subject plus verb's first form plus ing plus object and question mark at the end. Were they playing chess? Question mark. What else we can write? What other examples we can add? We could write was she doing her work? Right? Question mark at the end. I hope that's clear. Next is a future continuous tense. So children, again there are three types: subject plus. We will add will be or shall be according to the subject. Verb's first form plus ing plus object. Right? So he will be eating the food. It means the function, the act which will be operative at a particular point of time in future. He will be eating the food. They will be playing football. A similar kind of sentence. She will be going to the library. Right? So negative, we only need to add not. Rest of the rule will remain exactly the same. I shall not be violating the rules. It means I shall not be breaking the rules. Violation of rules means breaking a prescribed set of rules. Right? You may make similar sentence. Say, they will not be completing their homework. Right? So in interrogative, again children, bear it in mind very clearly. Will or shall, that is helping verb, would come in the beginning plus subject plus be plus first form of verb ing plus object. What will you be doing tomorrow? Question mark. What will you be doing tomorrow? Right? I hope that's clear to you. Children, next is present perfect tense. Three types are very simple. Children, whenever there is perfect, you would use third form of verb. Remember the rule very carefully. Whenever there is perfect, whether it's present perfect, whether it's past perfect, whether it's future perfect tense, wherever perfect is there, we would use third form of verb. Right? Why? Because perfect, whom we call perfect? Perfect, the one who doesn't need any addition in it. Perfect means complete, in which there is no limitation, there is no weakness. We often say, this man is perfect. Right? This lesson is perfect. So, perfect means the one which or who is complete in itself, or the one who is complete in himself. Right? So, when the action is accomplished, we use perfect tense when the action is done, when the action is completed, when the action is accomplished. So, what we say, see the example of affirmative: subject plus has or have, verb's third form plus object. I have lost my pen. It means the process is completed. I am not afraid of anything that I will lose my pen or I am losing my pen. I have lost my pen. It means I don't have the pen I was having earlier. I have lost it. Lost, verb's third form. And out of has and have, I hope you all know that with I we use have. Next example, again the same rule, only adding not in that. So see, he has not finished his work. Has not. We know that out of has or have, out of has and have, we add has with he. Whether it is he or she or any singular except I, right? Any singular subject we use has. He has not finished his work. We can also make a similar sentence, right? So how it goes? They have not finished their lunch. So with they, we will use the helping verb have. And then the ultimate rule of present perfect, that is interrogative. As you must have learnt by now that helping verb comes in the beginning in the interrogative type. Has or have will come in the beginning, plus subject, plus the third form of verb, plus object is used, and a question mark at the end, right? Have you completed the task? Question mark. Have you completed? Completed third form of verb, right? I hope that's clear. Next, past perfect. So, a very little difference between present perfect and past perfect. I would keep switching the slides. See, subject plus had plus third form of verb plus object. Children, past perfect tense is comparatively simple. You know, in present, we need to select like what we should use, has or have along with the subject. In past perfect tense, the work is somewhat similar, I would say. So in affirmative, see, had is used, be it affirmative, negative, interrogative, had will be used. In past perfect, had plus third form, be it affirmative, be it negative or interrogative sentence, right? The train had left when I reached the station. Focus on the part, the train had left, right? The train is the subject, had left as a left as a third form of verb, plus object is considered the last one, right? So when I reached the station. So children, next is negative type. Exactly the same rule, adding not in it. They had not solved the sums. Solved, verb's third form. Had is applied. Be the subject is singular, it's plural. They, he, she, it, etc. Anything, right? Interrogative, similarly, had, that is the helping verb of the tense, would come in the beginning. Had plus subject plus verb's third form plus object is there. And simply it's had they reached the school in time? Question mark. Had they reached verb's third form, the school object in time, that is adjunct. I hope that's clear. Next is children future perfect tense. So as simple as that, children, in this subject would obviously come in affirmative sentence, subject would obviously come in the beginning, plus will have or shall have. Children, wherever there will be I or we as subject, we will use shall have. If he is there, she is there, they is there, so we will use will have. So, subject plus will have or shall have plus verb's third form plus object. As I told you, wherever there is perfect, we will use third form of object and none other form. Bear it in mind very carefully. So, I shall have reached by morning. Reached, children, third form of verb, right? When the action is completed. I shall have means by morning I shall have completed that action. Which action? Action of reaching a particular place. I shall have reached by morning, right? So in the next negative sentence, subject plus will have or shall have plus not is added, and children, bear it very carefully that not comes between will and have. We cannot write he will have not returned. No, that is a wrong utterance. But we'll write he will not have returned before you reach there. It means Whenever there is a negative sentence in future perfect tense, so between will and have, we will insert the negative, not. He will not have returned before you reach there. Right? In interrogative sentence, next is will plus shall plus subject. Now, will or shall will come in the beginning plus subject, then have. This is, I know, a bit difficult thing to remember. Note it carefully. Will or shall will obviously come in the beginning in every interrogative. The helping verb comes in the beginning, right? Will or shall plus subject plus have plus third form of verb plus object. See, will they have crossed the river carefully? Question mark. Verb's third form is there. Always remember, right? So I hope that's clear. So children, next is the perfect continuous type. So this is a bit complex as compared to the previous one, as we have been like doing the simple types. So you need to pay a bit more attention towards this, right? So present perfect continuous tense in affirmative, subject, has been or have been, plus verb's first form is used along with ing plus object plus since or for is used in order to denote time, right? Since or for will be used in these sentences, and that is mandatory, right? So how to identify where to use since and where to use for? So children, bear it in mind that since is used for a point of time, a particular point of time, since morning, since 10 o'clock, since 5 o'clock, since Tuesday, since August, since 1998, right? For is used for a period of time. Period means the length of time, for how long you have been into some process. For example, I have been teaching you for 2.5 hours. I have been teaching you for 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, now it's 6 o'clock in the evening, right? Try to understand the context. If I have been teaching you for 2.5 hours, I would use for here. If I say I have been teaching you since 3:30 p.m., because 3:30 p.m. is a particular point of time, so I will use since in that sentence, right? I have been teaching you since 3:30 p.m. That is correct. Or if I want to use for, I will say I have been teaching you for 2.5 hours. I hope that's clear, right? So you may like listen to this example on a repeat mode. So similar example is there. We have been waiting for you for half an hour. We have been waiting for you for half an hour. If time would have been there, then the sentence should be written as we have been waiting for you since 6 o'clock, or we have been waiting for you since 5 o'clock. I hope that's clear. So in negative, only not is added, or else the sentence would remain same. It has not been raining since morning. If affirmative sentence would have been there, so what we'll use? It has been raining since morning. It has been raining since morning. In negative, we will write it has not been raining since morning, right? So interrogative, similar example. So children, again remember, helping verb will come in the beginning. Has or have would come in the beginning, right? Has he been working here for 2 years? So children, if we want to use since in place of for in this sentence, how can we write that? So as we know that it's 2020, year 2020 going on, and if we write has he been working here since 2018 question mark, then we could use since here. But 2 years means length of time is given, period of time is given, so we would use for here, or else Like if since is to be used, then exactly the point of time should be given. Like I gave you the example 2018. Has he been working here for since 2018 question mark. So I hope that's clear. Next is past perfect continuous tense. So children, a bit different. See, I would switch these slides. In past perfect, children, we use had, subject plus had been plus first form ing, object, sense and for, everything will remain same as compared to present perfect tense. In present perfect tense, we have to select from has or have, means which of the helping verbs will be used, and past tense, it makes it as simple as that. Had is used whether it's singular or it's plural, right? So she had been living in Firozpur since childhood, right? She had been living at that place since her childhood. So, in negative examples, only we need to add not. But you must note it carefully, children, that not will be added between had and been. We cannot say, I had been not paying the installment for 6 months. No, that's an incorrect utterance. Carefully, I had not been paying the installment for 6 months. Negative word not always comes between the helping verb plus been in past perfect continuous. Because why I am stressing upon this, because this is one of the most common example I usually come across while checking the exam papers, right? So I had not been paying the installment for 6 months. Next is interrogative. I hope you remember it by now that helping verb always comes in the beginning. Had he been coming to school for 2 months? Question mark. The sentence structure becomes very much important here. See, had he been. Had would come in the beginning, then subject, then been, right? So, had he been coming, verbs first form plus ing etc. would remain same, right? So, we could also write this sentence that had he been coming to school since August, right? So, instead of 2 months, 2 months is a period of time. That's why we have attached for. But if we want to use since, then we may write it like had he been coming to school since August? Question mark, right? I hope that's clear. The last type is future perfect continuous tense. So children, see a comparison. Subject plus had been plus first form plus ing plus object in past continuous tense. Subject plus will have been or shall have been. See, has been or have been, had been, here will have been or shall have been. Simply you can apply will have been in almost all the sentences. See, I shall have been writing a book. Writing, first form of verb plus ing. A book is the object itself for 6 months. You could also write it like I shall have been writing a book since June, right? So negative, not will be added, nothing else, no more additions, children. But remember, not will be inserted between will, shall and have been. Sentence structure, I am repeating, sentence structure is very, very important. He will not have been studying since Monday, right? So you cannot say he will have been not studying. No, that's an incorrect utterance. He will not have been studying since Monday, right? In interrogative, final type, will or shall, that is helping verb, will come in the beginning plus subject plus have been plus first form ing and object, and since and for is the last part. Will you have been visiting the temple for 2 months? Question mark. Will or shall plus subject. Subject is you. So out of will or shall we would write will plus have been, right? Visiting verbs first form plus ing. The temple is the object for 2 months is the time dimension, right? We could also write it like, will you have been visiting the temple since October, right? So that is also a correct utterance. So I hope that's clear. So thank you for your patience listening, and I hope you have enjoyed the session. Have a good day. Thank you.